The Dino Crisis franchise has always occupied a very special place in the heart of survival horror fans. I mean, one foot in the tense, claustrophobic world of early Resident Evil, and another in the wild, unpredictable danger of dinosaurs. Created by the legendary Shinji Mikami, the original Dino Crisis dropped players into a horrifying scenario of prehistoric terror on a remote island lab, blending resource tension, puzzles, genuine fear in the way few games ever truly touched. Its follow-up then, Dino Crisis 2, shifted more towards action, but kept that, heart-pounding intensity intact. Now more than 2 decades after the series' last main entry, and the winds of change are blowing, with both games recently made widely available on modern PCs and growing fan demand for a remake. Dino Crisis is once again on the collective radar, and the idea of a full remake feels more tangible right now than ever. The re-release of Dino Crisis and Dino Crisis 2 on PC, first through GOG's preservation program and now on Steam, has actually allowed a fresh generation of gamers to experience these classics, of course without the technical headaches of outdated hardware. The GOG versions include improved DirectX rendering, support for modern controllers, and even 4K resolution options, making these once decade-old titles feel much more at home on today's systems. The Capcom has taken steps to preserve and reintroduce the franchise as meaningful in itself. It signals, first, that the IP still has commercial and cultural relevance. Whether the Steam version's editions of DRM will be controversial among purists, the fact remains that the classics are both now accessible and experiencing renewed interest. This renewed accessibility actually comes at an appropriate time. Across the gaming landscape, nostalgia has become a powerful force driving remakes, remasters, and reimaginings of beloved titles. Capcom's own history with franchise revival over the last decade, most notably with the remakes of Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4, demonstrates that the company has tools and the appetite to reintroduce classic survival horror to both old fans and newcomers alike. In fact, fans themselves have been vocal in surveys and online polls. Dino Crisis frequently tops the list of franchises they most want to see reimagined. Now, there's also evidence that Capcom has not entirely forgotten about Dino Crisis. Trademark activity and fresh merchandise have periodically surfaced, prompting speculations as the company may be testing the waters for a new substantial return. While trademark, filings alone don't really guarantee a remake, of course, they often signal that a publisher wants to preserve options for future development, and with the right market conditions could signal plans for beyond legal housekeeping. The current momentum behind the series' re-releases could well be part of Capcom's broader strategy to gauge fans' interest and economic viability before committing to a full remake. For fans of the original titles and players who only now have the chance to discover them, a remake feels like the next logical step, of course, not just a nostalgic indulgence. The core formula that made Dino Crisis compelling more than 20 years ago is still powerful. Survival under constant threat, limited resources, and dinosaurs that don't just lurk in shadows but strike back with terrifying intelligence and some brute force. A modern remake could have had the chance to build on those foundations while dramatically expanding what's possible with the current horror and the game engines. Let's say, imagine a Dino Crisis rebuilt on a cutting-edge engine like Capcom's Re-Engine, the same technology that has driven Resident Evil remakes to critical acclaim. The level of detail, lighting, character animation, and environmental immersion achievable with such technology would be transformative. A remake using modern tools could render rain-slicked metal corridors and wood gleam of reptilian scales, and also the visceral impact of a raptor, striking you with some stunning fidelity. Cutscenes and voice acting could deepen character development, This isn't just a graphical uplift, it's a chance to recraft pacing, enemy behavior, and survival mechanics, of course, to appeal to both veterans and the newcomers. Now, a key question is such a remake would be how faithful it should remain to the originals. The first Dino Crisis was often described as Resident Evil with dinosaurs, with an emphasis on puzzle solving and resource scarcity framed around the science fiction narrative. Dino Crisis 2 turned up the adrenaline with more action, A remake, however, could merge the best of both, preserving the survival enhancements, and the adaptive AI could maintain the spirit of discovery while reducing frustration for players unaccustomed to late 90s gameplay designs. Beyond the single-player enhancements, a full remake could also introduce optional challenges for modes that weren't even feasible in the past. Co-op play, time trials, and unlockable difficulty settings would definitely expand replay value. Now, of course, the path toward an official remake hasn't been without the old hurdles. Reports suggest that Capcom has made attempts to remake Dino Crisis in the past, only to see projects cancelled because they didn't meet internal quality standards. One alleged insider actually claims 2 separate remake efforts were abandoned before gaining traction, including one by the now defunct Capcom Vancouver studio. So these setbacks highlight the challenges of reviving a cherished franchise such as this one, balancing nostalgia with innovation and ensuring any new iteration lives up to the legacy rather than just cheapening it. There's also an important cultural element at play. Dinosaurs remain captivating storytelling machines in pop culture. From films, to documentary series, a few game franchises have combined their primal fear factor with survival horror as efficiently as Dino Crisis. And a remake could tap into that timeless fascination and present a narrative that blends mystery, sci-fi intrigue, and survival tension in ways that feel fresh and relevant in these years. In many ways, in fact, the re-emergence of Dino Crisis on PC feels like more than a preservation effort. It feels like a call to arms. By giving the classics a stable home on modern systems, Capcom has allowed a new generation to experience the thrills firsthand and, reminded longtime fans why the franchise mattered in the first place. And whether that reintroduction was planned as a testing ground for broader revival remains speculation, but the groundwork has unquestionably been laid. Whether Capcom ultimately embraces this opportunity remains to be seen, but the pieces have fallen into place. With the classics back in players' hands, vocal demand for a remake stronger than ever, and the company's proven willingness to revive legacy IP thoughtfully. The fact remains that the classics are both now accessible and experiencing renewed interest. This renewed accessibility actually comes at an appropriate time. The current momentum behind the series' re-releases could well be part of Capcom's broader strategy to gauge fans' interest and economic viability before committing to a full remake. A Dino Crisis remake could finally be more than wishful thinking. It could actually be the next great revival in survival horror history.